Tucker Carlson draws scorn for new details over a demonic attack. And he said he's not embarrassed, which, first of all, based. I think listen, you've got so many Christians and so many people who say that Christianity is a good thing even if they don't consider themselves Christian. But then you actually start talking about Christian things and they go, oh, are you crazy? Yeah. We believe in demons, actually. I mean, we believe that Satan convinced Adam and Eve to fall. Like Christianity actually becomes incoherent as a faith if you don't believe in the existence of demons. It doesn't work and it doesn't make sense. And so the idea that people would laugh, it's in the Bible. Exactly. Political commentator Tucker Carlson has prompted renewed scorn after providing more details about a supernatural attack he alleges happened to him in his bed in February of 2023, months before Fox News fired him. During an extensive interview last Thursday with fellow former Fox News host Megyn Kelly, Carlson suggested the attack was in response to a positive supernatural experience he had the day before, during which he experienced love towards someone he hated. That's actually really interesting. Yeah. Now, the thing is, regardless of whether you feel this happened or think this happened, I certainly don't doubt his sincerity. And when we did America Fest at TPUSA, I had the privilege of doing a podcast with him and a couple of other people, including Charlie Kirk, may he rest in peace. And Tucker mentioned this story on the podcast about how he was attacked by a demon. So listen, I don't know why we would say that we need to promote Christian thought and be a Christian country and then laugh at a guy when he says something demonic happened to him, because don't you think a demon would attack someone in Tucker Carlson's position if they're starting to spread truth and if they're like loving their enemies and doing good Christian things?
Well,
the same people making fun of this are the people who have crystals and tarot cards and all kinds of other nonsense. And they're reading their horoscope and trying to figure out, how do I know if this guy likes me? Let me read my horoscope.
That's all occultism on the other end. Well, let me fire back at you on this a little bit.
Sure.
So the thing is like, as Christians, though, we should not be gullible.
Agreed.
And as Christians, though, we should not reject the scientific method. And as Christians, we should not reject that science.
Before we get started, we got a great sponsor. It is Beam Dream. Head over to shopbeam.com, my friends, /Tim Pool, and pick up your Beam Dream, your nighttime sleep blend. Helps you sleep better. I drink this stuff every night. I swear by it. It is delicious. It's got melatonin, magnesium, L-theanine. It is fantastic. And right now, you will get their early Black Friday sale, 50% off. I really do think it's fantastic. And this is legit. I do drink it every single night. My sleep improved. I didn't even know it could improve. And now for the past several months, I've been having consistently good sleep. And you guys know that I recently had a baby. So that's pretty impressive. Good stuff, Beam Dream.
Can help us come up with answers to the natural world and how it functions. And so the thing is like these categories, the spiritual categories, the categories that have no scientific explanation, like the demonic, I don't expect people who have a more secular nature, agnostic or atheist nature, to believe those things about Christianity, even as they benefit from the effects of Christianity. They don't have a problem with you believing those things. But if you're gonna just immediately take Carlson at his word for it, and maybe that's fair that you should, okay, or shouldn't.
Well, I don't doubt his sincerity.
I get it. You don't doubt the sincerity, but it's still rational and within the confines of rational thinking that even Christians could and would doubt that this actually happened. Now, absent documentation and things like this, and Catholics are the most skeptical of all. They have
an exorcist would investigate this.
Yeah, they have
going
supernatural
into it. Yes,
investigators to look for the miraculous just as much as they do the demonic. And so it's like, look, I don't know if it happened or not. Not for me to say. I have no clue. You have no clue,
yeah,
right?
That's fair.
But I don't think it's not rational for people to be skeptical of it, even if they're Christians. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with being skeptical of it at all. We had Father Ripperger on this past Friday, and he's a fantastic priest. He's an exorcist, and one of the things he talked about was the fact that the vast majority of cases when someone thinks there's demonic activity, there isn't. It's either something else or some kind of mental health issue, whatever. Almost always. That said, Tucker Carlson, and I don't know him very well. I've only met him once, but just on the podcast with him, he told the story.
Well, he definitely believes it.
Yeah, he definitely believes it. I have no reason to disbelieve it, but you're right that it's not reasonable. It's reasonable to be skeptical, especially about a person making a large supernatural claim.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. I believe it, but I'm not saying people have to believe it or they're bad Christians or something like that. because again, even in these matters, you do have an investigation before an exorcist comes in. It just drives me crazy when people dismiss it out of hand and go, this guy's crazy and this is silly and this belief in demons is ridiculous.
Now that's also rational and reasonable. See, like it has to go on the other end too. So to your point, it's also rational and reasonable to be like, hey, we'll investigate it a little bit.
Exactly.
We'll have someone come in and take a look at it or something like this. That's also reasonable and rational on the Christian end to do. So if they're skeptical that there was a legitimate demonic attack on Tucker Carlson, I think that's rational.
Yeah.
And I think it's rational on the other end to say there could be, and so it's worth investigating. But what's interesting is like you'd find a lot more alignment with secularists with that view, because wouldn't they say the same thing?
Well, I'm curious about this too, because he's mentioned this before, and he hasn't really said anything else like this. And he says, I'm not embarrassed and I don't care if I'm mocked. This is part of why I find it so fascinating, because I think most people, even if they feel they've experienced something supernatural or have, or even just believe they have, they're not going to want to talk about it in public. That's also part of why I don't want to dismiss him, because I think there's something bold about it that I do appreciate.
Yeah, sure. It draws attention to it.
Yeah. And if it happened, like if something like that happened to me, I don't know that I would be brave enough to go on a podcast and talk about it. I might be concerned, well, people are going to mock me and I'm going to make the faith look superstitious or something.
Of this type of stuff, when I read about Catholic exorcism or Orthodox exorcists and things like that, Catholics have a much more well-documented, more public kind of face when it comes to exorcism. They're like rock stars because of the movie The Exorcist. Right? Brought it all out. But obsession is the most common, right?
Yeah,
demonic obsession. And, demonic possession is the least likely. And it's extremely rare. But physical demonic attacks are even more rare yet, unless possession's involved. And that would maybe throw a red flag to, well, we can be a little bit skeptical here. This wasn't just the idea if I woke up with sleep paralysis and saw a demon or something like this, but rather he's saying there was a physical attack where claw marks raked him and there was blood left.
That's wild.
Now
I forgot about that.
Yeah, now that does bring another dimension. Now we're in the physical, the material outside of the spiritual. So I don't think it's unreasonable for people to be skeptical. If Tucker Carlson ever watches, it's not an attack on him. It could very well be possible. I'm just pointing out it's rational to be skeptical.
Yeah, I also think it's interesting because he says this culturally. I'm not from a world where people are attacked by demons, Carlson told you, which most of us aren't. And he seems to come from a very waspy background where they don't really talk that much about the demonic or other such types of things. So I just find the whole thing fascinating. I think you're right. What's described is extraordinary. So it is fair for people to have some skepticism. Obviously, as mentioned, I lean towards thinking there's really something here. But ultimately...
But if you do have experiences with it, like I've had experiences with what I would have called ghosts back in the day, but now I would call it more demonic. And, when it does happen to you, I feel as though it's just like you can't explain it really. Like when I've had an experience with it, not like in the physical or anything, but just having a haunted house that I was in, that nothing made sense. Doors slamming open and close when I was in there. The tap was turning on by itself. Just like things that were just totally unexplainable by any sort of physics. So I'm like I don't know. Like I don't know how to just sort of wave that away.
And I don't think you should.
Yeah.
And that's not the point. My point is only that when somebody makes a claim like this, because there's so much, and you and I think we would agree on this too. There's a lot of grifting on the Christian side.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure.
Okay, it's huge. And it's a huge problem on the OF side and everything else. I'm not claiming Carlson's doing that at all.
Yeah.
I think that he's being sincere about his experience. But just if people instantly are very skeptical of something like that because it's such a big claim, I just think that that's reasonable.
I get it.
All.
I think that's fair. Well, listen, Tucker even said culturally he's not from a world where that happens. So maybe if before this experience happened, someone else said the same thing, he'd also be skeptical of it. Who knows?
Yeah. One of the most interesting books I've ever read was the one that you gave me, Rach. It was Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting how they were talking about
Seraphim Rose.
About UFOs. And how all of these like alien shows have been sort of programming us for UFOs, but really they've always existed, and they're sort of demonic forces.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.